Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wichita Vice.
All right,
Yeah, here we go.
Direct from the bridge of the Shield helicarrier, it's your captain, Chris with a K.
Straight from the Fortress of Solitude, it's the off-brand Superman, Marquez Christopher Easton.
And it's your boy, Tristan.
Okay, that was lame. Okay, well, how can I beat that? How can I beat that? So this is your host, Carlos. You guys, welcome back to another episode of Wichita Vice. It's been a while, but you guys, we are back, and we are going to dive into both worlds of Marvel and DC as well. But for now, we're going to stick with Marvel. All right, let's introduce Namor, the submariner. Mariner. I keep saying Mariner.
Yeah.
Why do I'm thinking baseball.
Mariner, yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, do not forget, we are going to do, in the Silver Cosmo movie reviews, we will do Avatar in preparing for the sequel, Avatar: Way of Water. So, as our treat to Silver Cosmos movie reviews, we're going to give away 2 tickets and dinner.
Bang.
So, you guys, after this show here,
I can eat.
We're going to, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You're going to invite me? You're going to invite me, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Will I get desserts?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to get you a water and rolls, just because we're on a budget here.
Yeah.
You guys, so all you have to do is like and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate that. And also, feel free to check out our other shows as well. So if you're a sports person, we've got Wichita Wild West Sports Fellas. We have also our Sports Fellas as well. And we also have our Swift Kicks World Cup Soccer Edition as well. So stay tuned on that. Well, before we dive in, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Well, I don't know about you folks, but here at Sports Fellas, things can get, a nice right funk going on sometimes. And in that time of need, we turn to our friend Kimberly Sampson, our own personal Cincy independent consultant. She is our favorite star consultant, so for your scent needs, get a hold of Kimberly at heavenlyscentswithkim@gmail.com or visit her website, heavenlyscentswithkim.cincy.us. You can also call her at 316-282-7363. That's Kimberly Sampson at Cincy, our favorite independent consultant.
All right, so we're going to start with the villain side here. So we know already that Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, just came out a couple weeks ago, and we have got to dive in on our characters. So we're going to go under the sea, but not the Little Mermaid. We're going to do it Marvel style. So first of all, let's start up with our first villain. We have Atuma. Atuma was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. First appeared in Fantastic Four, issue 33, back in December 1964. And so a little bit describe their powers. His powers is he's got hand-to-hand combat. He's got extraordinary speeds in swimming. He's got special vision, and he's got self-propelled flight as well. So, Marquez, I'm going to hand this off to you. Tell me a little bit about Atuma.
Well, there's a couple of different iterations of the character. One of my favorite is the fact that is the one where he was second in command to Namor, Submariner. I like that iteration of him better because it was always kind of like this internal conflict. And I thought that was something that was kind of, you saw this Atlantean or Talak. What was the name of the thing? We're just going to go with Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say Atlantis. But no, he was always a very powerful fighter. He was always just one of those people that, he would give the Avengers a hard time. And I like the look of the character, with the blue skin and everything like that. They made him look very aquatic. Now, in the movie, they seem to wear some kind of breathing apparatus that was full of water,
Right.
and I like the fact that they added the gill slits on the neck and stuff like that. That's a nice little attention to detail, making them like human aquatic hybrids of some sort.
Yeah.
And they never really explained what the limits of Atuma's strength and of his skills were. They never really touched on that. Just what couldn't he do, because in a lot of ways, I think that what the character doesn't do, that kind of helps contrast his powers, but as it now stands, they've never reached the limit of what he could do. So I think the movie, they kind of detuned him a little bit because in the comic book, he was stupid powerful, So
Well, and, maybe there's something that's going to happen along the MCU if they continue with his character line in there. I thought they kind of undersold him as well.
yeah.
They didn't quite make him the goofy, dumb big guy.
No.
But they still kind of made him the dumb big guy.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those things, guys, that I wish they would kind of stop with in these movies. It's like they feel like if the character's strong in stature, he has to be weak in character.
Right.
You know, I feel like if you have overpowering strength and there's nothing else to you but that. Yes, they make strong characters very, very one-dimensional, with the exception of Superman. DC Superman, they make any big, strong guy just kind of like, you know.
See, there's a spectrum. You've got the old Batman and Robin Bane.
Yeah, that
that kind
that
of
Bane,
and then you got a smart Bane in the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight Rises. And the thing is, in the show, Atuma, you know, especially, you know, being part of the Atlantean tribe, the guy is powerful. I mean, he is a wrecking machine. I mean, he's someone to fear. And the thing is that he can match up with Namor. I mean, the guy, and when you were talking about, you know, weights, he can carry. I mean, the guy can carry like 60 tons.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fast, very fast swimmer. He's excels in combat, and I liked how he was portrayed in the movie. In the movie, he was giving Okoye a hard time.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the fact that she had some sort of an advantage. When you really look at it toe to toe, he could have beaten her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I mean, when he was fighting, you know who he reminded me of? One of those characters from Mortal Kombat. The other, not Shao Kahn.
Kotal Khan.
Yes, he kind of looked like him a
yes,
little bit.
Yes, he did. Almost
I was
identical.
like,
yeah.
Are you gonna finish her? Are you gonna finish her? Get her. You know, and then I mean and then like you see how he was pointing at her, like he was trying to challenge her.
Yeah, I think he was in the movie. I couldn't understand what he was saying, obviously, but it was just because of the thrill of combat. He liked the combat.
Right.
You know, it was the honor of it all.
Well, and that's kind of his. Even in the comic, like he's the ultimate warrior, essentially. That wants to become king.
Yeah.
As a warrior king, like he wants to fight for it, like that. And then he wants to fight after that. He wants to take, like he wants to become king so he can control the army, even bigger armies, to do more fighting, especially against the surface world. And if there is any conflict that might maybe in the MCU that would rise, I could see that, because there was obviously a little bit of disconnect with Namor bowing down to Black Panther. Oh, am I spoiling?
Spoiler alert. Let's get that. Spoiler alert. Okay, go ahead.
You know, asking for allies. That's pretty early in the movie anyway, I guess.
Yeah. It was
kind of asking for allies. And the even when he first starts to ask, there's already this Atuma and the other second, Namora.
Yeah.
We're already like, what?
Yeah, it was.
Let's just kill them all. What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You notice in the movie, she was pretty bloodthirst. She's like,
Namora.
just kill him, kill him. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah, that was
no dialogue or nothing. Let's just attack.
And I think Atuma definitely already in the movie sense, also with kind of related back to the comic book, has that. He's definitely, I would say, stronger, faster than the average Atlantean already. And if he does make some kind of deal, maybe with Doctor Doom, that enhances him so he's able to have the strength to beat Namor, because that'd be one of the reasons right now. He's still not strong enough to beat Namor.
Yeah.
Like, none of those guys are really, like, that's why Namor's still the king of their deal, because he's got the god, you know, the feather serpent king god thing.
Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing I do admire that, and especially if you know, I'm that guy that watches cartoons. Okay, I'm calling it out. That's me.
Of course, we all do.
In the Avengers Assemble, it took, like I was telling the guys here, when Atuma attacked the Avengers. I mean, he beat Iron Man. He beat Thor. He was beating Hulk, and it took also getting Namor in on their side. Now in the comic books, when the Fantastic Four is going to, dude, he's beating all of them. He's beating the Thing. He's knocking out the Human Torch, beating Mr. Fantastic, and then also, you know, what's her name? What's her name? I forgot her.
Invisible Woman.
Sue Storm. And so therefore, when Namor has to come in, Namor is the one that's able to match up with Atuma. But indeed, I'm hoping that the Marvel MCU will do is let's say for example, Namor gets his own movie, which they should, and make it that centered to have a rise and saying,
I
hey, you know
would
what, we want to challenge your authority.
I would guess it would have to go.
It'd have to be that way. And then the
Yeah.
thing is Atuma attacks on the surface because he doesn't like people, pretty much humans, but he calls them the surface people, and he's attacking Atlantis as well. So I mean, he's got to do
Well,
fight in a
under
dual
his,
front.
to be fair, from his belief, he's trying to unite Atlantis. He's not attacking them. He wants. I mean, he's fighting the bad Atlanteans to grow a united, stronger Atlantis. Because he kind of comes from in the original storyline, he comes from like a tribe that was banished from Atlantis.
Yeah.
And when he was born with all these extra powers. No one even knows why, but it's kind of becomes, well, he must be the next ruler because he was gifted all these extra abilities, which I don't think are still enough to beat Namor yet. But if he gets in with the right people, Doctor Doom.
So, like, for example, Tristan, in the movie, when Atuma was fighting the Wakandian soldiers and all that, what did you admire about Atuma when he was fighting them?
Oh, his love for battle, that they made it seem like he enjoyed it. I mean, clearly because he's good at it, and that's clearly because he's a monster. But like looking at it, I wouldn't have guessed. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea he was that powerful in them or in the Marvel comics. But that's pretty cool to see, and that's interesting. And I like how they portrayed him. To me, it looked like, from my perspective, I saw like a big commander who loves battle, who's really strong. If anybody's gonna lead anybody in battle, it's him, and it's dangerous. But I like the way they portrayed him in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hate to keep contrasting this with the comics, but to add to that, I mean, Atuma was always kind of like that secondhand peripheral character, and I think that's what made him mad. That was the source of his willpower. He wanted to be the first, not the second. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. One of the things is that we're just waiting to explore the Marvel MCU, especially dealing with Atlantis. And I know that we're crossing lines because Atlantis is more on like Aquaman side, but let's just for FYI here, guys. We know it. Namor was first before Aquaman. I know you're upset. Just let it sink in a little bit.
Yeah,
I get it. I'd be upset too, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens. He was first. He was first.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys. Well, let's go ahead. Let's move on over to the next villain. Now, this villain, I hope he's going to get a little bit of showtime because he's pretty interesting. It is the Warlord Krang, also created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. He appeared in the Fantastic Four Annual Issue 1 back in 1963. Again, he has the same skills as the Atlanteans there with Atuma and Namor. He's a skilled strategist. He's an expert fencer, and he has got leadership skills because he is like in second in command. He's a general, and he wields an electric sword. So let's go and start this off with you, Marquez. What do you know about the Warlord Krang?
I know that his sword is actually a product of electric eels. Actually, he used I think either something to do with eels. I know that, but no, but was considered a mutant. Any one of the Atlanteans, and we are calling them Atlanteans. When because they're stronger than us, they have to be to withstand the pressures of the water.
Right.
From being the depth of the ocean. So their bodies have to be more resilient than normal humans.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, some of them were born with extraordinary powers. Like I know Krang, like Namor, his strength and his abilities fade the longer he's out of water. But other than that, again, he's just another peripheral character that they just kind of, have in the background, and then they move him forward when he needs. They need to use him to attack. From a narrative standpoint, that's just what the character, because he's never really had his own, any standout stories. Not that I'm aware of.
Mostly comic book based.
Yeah, he was never,
He could see really far in the depths of the.
Yeah, and I know that they. I always felt like that it was either him or another character named Tiger Shark that wasn't in the movie. Tiger Shark was actually cool because I thought he was better than Krang because he had adamantium teeth. I thought that was pretty cool.
He's got Namor DNA as well.
Yeah,
we will do Tiger Shark pretty soon.
Okay,
but
yeah,
Krang, Krang for sure though, Marquez. Krang, remember, this guy was in second command of Namor. And what
Right.
happened was
Yeah.
Namor was diving up at the surface world, hanging out there. This guy took advantage of that. He goes, hey, he's not here. We need a leader. I'll just do it. And
Yeah.
that's what was going on. And what happened was is he had it all lined up, and it was trustworthy to keep him. But the thing
Yeah.
was is at the end, that's what happened. He stepped his boundaries. Namor challenged him and, was able to bring him back to size. And he says, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why you're in second place.
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
first. And so, therefore, he's done quite a bit. But the affiliations that he's had, I mean, we've done here, he's teamed up with the Tuma, which is
Yeah.
powerful.
Few times I thought.
And then the Marvel's Puppet Master, Byra, Okra, now Orca. I said Okra. I'm hungry, you guys. Oh, here comes Okra. I bet you the audience is like, Okra? That don't sound nobody
That's the
powerful.
that's the Midwest.
And then you got
there.
the sub commander as well. But indeed, I wonder where Krang would be. Krang would be an amazing character. Maybe to set him up to where maybe in the comic books, or relay it from the comic books to the movies, have him to where he's the connection between Tuma and Doctor Doom, and then finally maybe like
That's-
Doctor Doom comes in, he
Well,
goes, okay, we're here.
Yeah,
And
something
with
like
his
that. Some
how
kinda-
much interactions he's had with the Fantastic Four, how cool would that be of an interaction to bring in the Atlantis side also into the Fantastic Four universe? Then you have a connection from Wakanda to Fantastic Four
Yeah.
connected through Atlantis, and I don't know. I could see it just building that way. That would
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
That'd be
Krang is pretty cool. I mean, he's not a stupid guy, so
No,
he's
no.
kind of neat there, and
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of ways when I assume I'm sure a character that they're keeping open for MCU at some point
Yeah.
to see how he gets used, how they bring him into the universe, especially as they focus more and more, get in more and more characters out of the Atlantean area down there, and how that interacts with the rest of the MCU should be pretty interesting, I would say.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
But indeed, we just got to start lining up everybody that's in that show, because I mean, what's going to happen is eventually they're going to have to start aligning the pieces. Because I mean, right now with Marvel MCU, we've got so much vastness, and we have to really start pinpointing and get everybody in. So hopefully we'll get to see these villains in action.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a pause and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, why don't you check out She Barber Cuts Barbershop and give Markeisha Brown, the licensed professional barber there, a call at 316-218-3566 for all your haircut needs. She's got cuts for kids, adults, and for those looking for the good one, the deluxe with beard trims, wash, and hot towels. So don't forget to give Markeisha a call at She Barber Cuts and see her at 2319 North Ridge, Barber Suite 6A here in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay, we're going to move on over to the Marvel hero side. So in the movie, debuted in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we have Ironheart.
Yes.
Ironheart was created by Brian Michael Bendis and Mike Teodato. Hopefully I didn't torture his name there. All right, she appeared in Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, Issue 7, back in May of 2016. She's a skilled inventor, engineer, and she's a super genius. Well, pretty much like Iron Man, but
Yeah.
less money. All right, let's go ahead and dive
Yeah.
into her character. Marquez, tell me a little bit about Ironheart.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like her creation. I think Brian Michael Bendis, he had a daughter that he wanted to kind of create a character for and model after his daughter, and Riri Williams was that character. Yeah, Ironheart. She's pretty much Iron Man, but I think they're going to go with something different in the movie. I'm surprised that they introduced her this early on. She's a fairly new character. You know, I mean, I love the invention. I mean, and I have to spoil this for you. And I kind of knew this was going to happen in the movie. It was kind of cool because I was excited when she made her suit, and and Shuri said you could only use it within Wakanda.
Well,
You
I
know,
think she
and it
used
was-
vibranium to make it too.
Yeah, vibranium and all other kind of stuff. And
Well, their technology basically.
yeah, much better tech. And it was just, but you know, and like I said, I don't know if this is true or not, but don't quote me on this just yet. But they say it's rumored that she's going to get her own series on Disney Plus.
I could see that.
And your rumors are true.
Oh, are they true? Okay, yeah, okay.
So far,
I had to spoil it.
Yeah.
It will be a, it'll be
Should
a
be good.
series on Disney Plus, and it's going to focus on her.
Yeah, okay,
That should be
awesome.
good.
That ought to be great. You know, I was just, I didn't want to get my hopes up.
well,
You know, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, because you hear things, and then they just never materialize, and it's just kind of one of those things where, because I remember years ago they were going to do an Iron Man movie long before we got to see it. It was back in the early 2000s, like 2002 or something, but it just never came to fruition. And then when they finally got it done, and I finally started seeing trailers for it, I was like, okay, is that real? So, and ever since then, I've been kind of
Marquez wanted Tom Cruise, by the way.
No. They say that's who
I do-
Stanley wanted, but
I do. It's interesting. I thought it seemed the casting. She seemed a little bit older than because Riri's supposed to be like a mid or young high schooler, really, like
Yeah.
15. Who's so smart? She's at MIT.
yeah.
And the character they used in the MCU seemed a little bit older. She seemed like a traditional college student.
And
like,
I think they
like she
did
was
that
18, 19.
for that reason. I think, or for
just
the
to make
reason-
it not icky.
Yeah, just because you're kidnapping a child and it's like you're
Right.
taking them across the,
the other oceans.
Can you imagine
Yeah,
social
it's
services
like,
going to Wakanda?
yeah, we start then it's not fantastical anymore. It's a little too grounded. And if they start having to deal with, hey, you kidnap someone's kid and this and that, what have you, but.
When they needed, the MCU's need new characters to take over the old mantles. In the
Yeah,
comic books,
yeah.
they just redraw the character.
Yeah.
But they've got contracts and things like that in the MCU. So obviously there's not really too many other Iron. I mean, you have War Machine. But
Yeah,
he's
but
kind of
he's-
doing his
yeah.
thing, and I could see him even popping up as a guiding kind of figure for
Yeah.
Ironheart, being like, "Hey, I knew him. He was my best friend."
Oh yeah, yeah. Except for
if
the
you're gonna
tech-
wear his, wear his mantle, you got to do it right.
Yeah, Ray Rhodes and Tony Stark are two entirely different individuals.
Oh, for sure.
Except for the technology, I think even War Machine's technology is a little different. It's more ballistic.
Yes.
Whereas the Iron Man is more high tech, futuristic, bleeding edge type
Well,
of stuff because he has
yeah.
the resources. Versus, I think they wanted to keep War Machine more, a war machine. And,
I
and
mean,
Riri
Stark
Williams,
didn't want to give him.
Yeah.
Didn't want to give the military the
all of
best.
his technology, yeah.
Right.
And whereas to Riri Williams, I think we're still in a coming of age story
Yeah.
with the character.
I
mean,
could
to-
even
to-
see them being like opening up the Tony Stark's lab for like
Yeah.
Rhodey taking her and being like, actually, it's probably gonna be Happy.
Yeah, yeah,
Showing
yeah.
up
Someone
and
like
being
that.
like-
yeah.
Because John Favreau's all over that stuff. But
Yeah, yeah.
But we know for a fact that Dominique Thorne, who portrays Ironheart, they're already slate to go ahead and start, and it's going to be in 2023 when Ironheart is going to have her show.
Oh,
She's
cool.
now
she's been a really popular character since she dropped there. Would you say just not very long ago?
So,
Yeah.
and then also take into account too that what's it called, Marvel MCU has greenlighted the Armor Wars. It's going to happen. The comic books, for the people that don't know what the Armor Wars is, it's pretty much an all-out war when it's going to come to Iron Man suits. Now, the comic book's going to be different because are we going to see Tony Stark come back? Or we're going to see Robert Downey Jr. come back? We don't know. Anything's possible. But that is already appeared to be happening. So I'm excited about that.
Huh. Okay.
The crowd got quiet.
Yeah, that
Had
sounds
to
cool.
take a drink.
Armor
That goes to
Wars.
show that I'm excited for the Armor Wars because that's
Yeah.
really
yeah, that sounds like
in the
cool.
comic books. I know it sounds cheesy, but you've got one of the villains, Titanium Man. I
Yeah.
just said, please don't bring Whiplash. Please do not bring him back because he was just. No, I like Mickey Rourke. He did a good
Yeah,
job
yeah.
in Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
but that
that
whole
was
him
actually-
smiling and he's whipped.
yeah,
I was like, come on, man, really,
Yeah.
really, you're in
was
Monaco
bad.
and you're doing that? That's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. But all right, well, let's go ahead and dive into our character, Namor, the submariner. I said it right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, you
God. I
did.
see I'm all paranoid now.
I was
Okay.
actually just looking
Okay.
up the phonetic. It's Namor.
Okay.
Okay.
Created by Bill Everett. He first appeared in the first weekly edition of Motion Picture Funnies. So it was way before Marvel Comics even came to be. And then they adopted it back in 1939. So
Yeah.
Namor's power is superhuman strength, speed, durability, agility. His senses are heightened. The guy can fly. He's got wings on his feet. And they're not Nikes. They are actually wings. So therefore,
No Red Bull.
No Red Bull. Telepathy. He's got mind. He's got a mind connection with the animal, so he can talk to Flipper. He can talk to the orcas. I mean, not okra. Orcas.
Orcas.
So
Okay.
so I mean, the guy is just great. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this to you, Marquez. Tell me about Namor.
Oh yeah, the Submariner, Mariner, whatever. Okay.
Now I'm all paranoid. Now.
Okay, no.
My editing
No.
staff is gonna be like, okay, we went over budget.
Okay, okay. I like the character. I mean, yes, he is Aquaman, or Aquaman's more like him. What I do like about the character is that, you know, you have to have your checks and balances anytime you create a character with powers and stuff like that. I like the fact that, like I said, his strength and his abilities fade the longer he's out of water. The more dehydrated he gets, the weaker he gets, to where eventually he will die without water. And he's one of those characters to where it's almost impossible not to compare him to Aquaman. You know, I think that just naturally you're going to make that comparison. And I think what really sets him apart is his temperament. You know, Aquaman, you know, like I say, there's so many different iterations of every comic book character, but I think Namor is that true prince of Atlantis, you know, and he wants to basically destroy the surface world. It's in the one comic book, in the movie, guys, I'm going to spoil this, but I think he invaded Wakanda kind of easily. I thought that was kind of like, what? Because in the comic book, the only way he could get into Wakanda and do what he did, he had the Phoenix Force. You know, and that makes sense, you know. But in the movie, I'm like, okay, what? He just swims past the fences. Like, oh, what?
Well,
you know, like,
in the movie, they had the whole difference deal where both of them came from Vibranium Technological Society. So I would, for the movie purposes, I can see it because they had that access to Vibranium and could then tweak and possibly come in unaware because they could break through the Vibranium defenses. Because Wakanda's like, well, we don't have to protect against Vibranium. We're the only ones with it.
Yeah.
We're protecting against everything else.
And
so.
that's an interesting point that you bring up, because that makes sense. Okay, hey, look, you know, we're the only ones. We believe we're the only ones that have this. So why do we have to make defenses against?
And Namor
you know?
seemed to know that there was more places on the, which obviously Namor's been around for, it seems to be
4 or 5 centuries. Yeah,
hundreds of years, and so they seem to have known like that they're not the only ones with vibranium. That whatever they called them, the Atlanteans in the movie, Talakanians.
Yeah.
That they have vibranium, they're not the only ones with vibranium, whereas Wakanda has it, but they're like, we are the only ones.
Yeah, yeah.
But they also set up that there could be like this vibranium chase across the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Like as they discover other places that possibly have vibranium or things like that. So.
Yeah, and you know,
because originally Namor was a mutant.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
I mean, he still was a mutant, kind of, but originally he was a mutant of a human and an Atlantean.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, he was a mutant because they all drank that chemical or that liquid that the shaman had a vision of.
That grew underwater.
Right.
Yeah. And that's
similar to the heart flower that the Panthers would eat from.
Yeah. But that's, and the character, like I say, he's a skilled fighter. He's ruthless, and that's another thing about him. But the winged feet, like I said, I don't know the limits of his speed. You know, I mean, how fast can he fly? You know,
in the comic books, he could outwit jets. He could fly. I mean, his backstory is that, remember, his mother's Atlantean, and the father was human. They were in Antarctica. This was back before World War I, if I'm not mistaken. And what happened was that they were traveling uncharted waters, and so Namor's mother, traveled up to the surface to see, hey, what's going on. She gets captured, but you know, they treat her right. You know, they take care of her a little bit. And then what happened was the captain.
So she's going to show her affection. It was the 60s. Come on, guys.
Hi, how are you? Okay, so what happens is that, long story short, the captain, love at first sight. He saw her, that blue on her.
Yeah.
You know, too good to be true. And so therefore, what happened was
he
they
went
fell in love.
Avatar on her.
Oh yeah, Avatar to a whole nother level. And so then what happens is you know, the dad back in Atlantis is like, what's going on? Where's my daughter? So he sends a troop out there kills the captain of the ship and everybody, brings the daughter back. Well, when she brings her back, she's pregnant, and then Namor's born. So you're looking at this baby like, wow, he's pretty white. We're blue, you're white. What is going on here now? And so then therefore, and then his eyebrows look like a V. He's got a high V,
and his ears
worse than a girl putting, when they put their little
the draw,
the drawing. Oh gosh,
Point to the sky.
So
his
and then
ears, yeah.
So going through that, I mean, he's shown extraordinary abilities. I mean, especially being able to swim fast, and then him and his cousin. They both, back in the comic books, it's a neat story that goes, and then finally to find his identity, he's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go to the surface world. I want to see what's going on. And so there he goes out in the surface world. He finds out it's a whole different ball game. And fast forward, this is where you start seeing him interacting with other people, especially in the old comic books, the Fantastic Four. He befriends the Human Torch. But he's had his run-ins with a lot of the characters. I mean, especially when in other comic books, when the Avengers, they come down to ask for Namor to help, and like what you said, he is for his people.
Yeah.
He puts the Atlanteans above anything and everything. But when it comes to that kind of when duty calls, he is there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've always admired about him, especially even in the old comic book series and a couple of the Spider-Man shows and the Avengers Assemble, he's got character. The guy's got character. He's not just no pushover. And, but his ego, my gosh.
Yeah, he's very arrogant in the comic book.
It's like me going to the gym and then, hey, Marquez, let's go work out. And this guy is already showing off. It's like, come on, man. Can you let me be a little bit, Namor? Can you let me be? I got like 3 more. This guy's just keep going.
Yeah, that's Namor, though, which is why he wasn't considered a team player. I mean, he's there when it matters, but beyond that,
But he said team player. Now remember, Namor did something pretty extraordinary for the Avengers. Well, he gathered everybody up, and please follow on our last show we did. Just follow the Illuminati. He was in. He set up the deal where he was called up. They met in Wakanda, and Namor's part of the Illuminati with you already know with. Fantastic, Dr. Reed Richards.
Yeah, the Inhumans, which is Black Bolt, X-Men, Avengers, Professor X, is
Iron Man,
and Wakandans.
Black Panther.
Yeah, they each had an Infinity Stone to protect, I believe, which is what the original Illuminati. I think that's what their purpose was, to protect the Infinity Stone.
They could always bring it back.
But the thing is they also they were assembled because of the Kree and Skrulls war that was going on,
which is one of the Secret Wars. Isn't that coming up soon?
It should be.
Yes, we already know Samuel Jackson and what's her name? I forgot her. Is it Anna Paquin that's going to be in this one? No, who was it again? Oh, I forgot.
Is it going to be a series or is it?
He's going to be a series.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is back to the comic with Namor. The thing is with Namor has just so much history. I mean, he's an Avenger. He was part of the Cabal. I mean, he's kind of like an anti-hero. And he has done association with Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is a popular character in this realm because he's very involved. That's why I thought he was going to be in that Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie, but he didn't show up.
Yeah, I thought that
But
too,
maybe, again, behind the scenes. But that is something very unique. Tristan, what did you think about him in the movie?
I mean, well, clearly all he cared about was his people, but his motive was just to destroy the world. So I kind of like seeing it from that perspective. It's just like foil, the complete opposite of Wakanda. They're the same. They're the same within the technology, and they have and sort of the people, but they're opposites, complete opposites. One lives in the upper world, or with all the humans. One lives hidden in the ocean. One's trying to destroy the world. The other people are trying to protect it, And, I like seeing that from their perspective and seeing them put up a fight against Wakanda. And Namor was a very awesome character. He was very fast whenever he was fighting and they breached Wakanda. And, I mean, I like what they did with him in this movie.
They definitely put Wakanda in their place.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
you guys aren't quite as.
Well, remember
All that.
in the comic books, just in the comic books, Namor destroys Wakanda. Not just
Yeah.
little floods, little here, little there. No, I'm
Boom.
talking about it was total destruction.
But he had to use the Phoenix Force. It wasn't.
And then now people
was a
that may
total-
not know, Namor in the original Black Panther, we're not talking about the movie, but Black Panther and Namor have gone at it. I mean,
Yeah,
when
they
the
were-
Illuminati came to form, it took Iron Man, it took Doctor Strange, and I'm missing a character. Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and
Professor?
Mr. Fantastic
Yeah.
to just have these guys calm down because Namor wasn't having it.
Yeah.
I mean, all it took was you're making fun of my eyebrow, and then there goes a fight right
Yeah.
there, fight right there. Can't even sit down and have a normal conversation because they're about to
Yeah.
fight. And then it goes to show Namor is like I said, he's got a big ego, but this
Yeah.
guy he backs it up. He doesn't just talk trash. I mean, the guy he backs it up.
Yeah.
And especially dealing with his arch enemies, like when we were talking about Atuma and the warlord Krang. I mean, the guy, he has faced a lot of adversity. And one in the comic books, for a while when he was down in the gutters, when he lived in the surface world, he was a bum. He was hanging out in New York, being a bum and just not doing his thing. And then when Human Torch got recognized Namor, he's like, hey, you don't belong here. And he's like, oh, what are you talking about? And next thing you know it, set him straight, dropped him back in the ocean, and then, hey, okay, I remember who I am. So Namor, indeed, I'm glad they finally gave him his respect, and he's in the movie. Now, we already discussed this multiple times that the comic books and the movies is going to be different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, I will ask you this. Do you, okay, just throwing it out there. Who do you like? Who's your preferred Atlantean, Namor or Aquaman?
I'm a Jason Momoa fan, so.
No, we're talking about the comic book.
Okay, comic book.
Comic.
We're going just on the comic
Comic
books.
books.
I'd have to say Namor. You know.
Tristan?
I'm gonna say Aquaman. I had no idea who Namor was before this movie came out. So
Chris?
I would say Namor. He's just Aquaman, at least in the comic book wise, for most of it, he's just that cha-ching, thumbs up, let's
Yeah.
go, guy. Just Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
And Namor's got a little more funk on him, He's a little more
yeah.
real, which is usually the opposite, DC to Marvel.
Yeah. it
I
is.
prefer DC because they tend to, I feel like, have the
absolutely.
more real feelings. But Namor's one of the few characters I feel like he's just an open book. Like, man, I don't
Yeah.
care what you think.
And see, and that's the
This
thing.
is
for
what
me.
I'm doing.
Yeah, I've always been a DC fan, but as an adult, I think Marvel speaks to me a little more with characters like Namor and stuff like that. I think Marvel, they have some really good anti-hero-esque characters.
Yeah.
Whereas to DC, they have the brightly colored, fantastical, in your face, awesome stories that grab you and make you feel something, and then it's over.
Okay, yeah. I
So,
can see
and it's for that reason. As an adult, I think the anti-hero side of things, Marvel resonates with me a little more. And it pains me to say that because I've always loved DC. So I'd have, like you say, Namor is probably the guy I would pick as the Atlantean on the comic book side.
I like them both. It's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel that on one side, Namor's more the serious Atlantean. And then if you read the older books, yes, Aquaman was kind of a goofball. He was a goofball.
Yeah.
cheesy.
Yeah, real and then later on through the series, he's gotten more serious. Especially, I think it's the Justice League, one of the cartoons there, where he was not even part of the Justice League. He's kind
Yeah,
of like,
he was-
if you
yeah.
need my help, I'll kind of be there, but
Yeah.
that while before. The guy like, where do you want to hang out? Not with you in the ocean.
Yeah.
Poor guy. But
Yeah, that
then
was
Namor on the other hand, like his interaction. I mean, he's interacted with the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. I mean, he's even helped the X-Men. I mean, he's kind of notorious. He's that guy. So Namor has the advantage there. So. But you guys, that concludes our Atlantean friends, except Ironheart. She's not. She just stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
But all right, you guys will, like I said, stay tuned. We're going to cover some more heroes coming up. So if you have a character you want us to talk about, you already know already. write in the the comments. And also like and subscribe. Let us know who you like. So before we leave, any shout outs, Marquez?
Thank you, everyone in the studio. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate all the knowledge of comic books you guys throw on me. It's really interesting, and I love to hear it, man.
Yeah, thanks for everyone that's listening and the crew doing all the hard work behind the scenes.
Okay, I want to give a quick shout out. I mean, definitely to you guys. Thank you guys for coming out, especially you, Marquez. Thank you for keeping me on top of my toes on learning about these characters, and you as well, Chris. Thank you so much for being patient. And Tristan, of course, thank you for hearing us out. And, of course, the crew in the back, Eric, thank you so much. Powell and Dalen, his wife, thank you. A special shout-out to, now, I don't want to butcher his last name, but we're going to keep it first-name basis, Tom. Tom, you know who you are. Tom, I appreciate you giving us the feedback. I appreciate you tuning into our show, and that means a lot that we're able to reach out to new people and as well. So, again, all my friends out in the West Coast, thank you guys for tuning in. Marie and fam, Brandon, hope you guys are doing well. Gabby as well in Colorado. And just indeed, thank you guys for everything you guys do. So we look forward to the next show. We're out.